We begin in the United States, where President Donald Trump on Tuesday falsely accused Ukraine of starting the war with Russia that has killed thousands of people. During a press conference in Florida, President Trump said Kyiv should have struck a deal with Moscow to avoid the invasion 3 years ago.
And I think I have the power to end this war. And I think it's going very well. But today I heard, oh, well, we weren't invited. Well, you've been there for 3 years. You should have ended it 3 years. You should have never started it. You could have made a deal. I could have made a deal for Ukraine that would have given them almost all of the land, everything, almost all of the land, and no people would have been killed, and no city would have been demolished, and not one dome would have been knocked down. But they chose not to do it that way. And President Biden, in all fairness, he doesn't have a clue. What he was so bad for this. He was so bad, so pathetic. It's so sad.
Now, President Trump's remarks came after Ukrainian President Volodymyr Zelensky complained about being cut out of the first U.S.-Russia talks on ending the war. The meeting between top American and Russian diplomats was held in Riyadh, Saudi Arabia, but Ukraine was not invited.
This Russian-American meeting in Saudi Arabia was a surprise for us, just like to many others. Yes, we saw all this information from the media. I don't know who will stay there, who will leave, who is going where. To be honest, I don't care. What I care about is for the partners to overthink something about us.
Clearly visibly upset with President Zelensky, the commander-in-chief increased pressure on Ukraine to hold elections, a demand that Russia has been making for quite a long time now. The Ukrainian president was elected in 2019 to a 5-year term, but has remained in office amid the imposition of martial law in his country when the invasion began.
Well, we have a situation where we haven't had elections in Ukraine, where we have martial law, or essentially martial law in Ukraine, where the leader in Ukraine, I mean, I hate to say it, but he's down at 4% approval rating. And yeah, I would say that, you know, when they want a seat at the table, you could say the people have to, wouldn't the people of Ukraine have to say, like, you know, it's been a long time since we've had an election. That's not a Russia thing. That's something coming from me and coming from many other countries also.
Meanwhile, European nations are concerned that President Trump is giving too many concessions to Russia only to secure a peace deal that he promised during his re-election campaign. However, the president has insisted that he wants to achieve peace and end the conflict, adding Russia also wants to end the bloodshed. Now, during Tuesday's press conference, President Trump also hinted at meeting Russian President Vladimir Putin by the end of this month.
Russia talks, your impression of how they went today, and if you're perhaps more confident or less confident of a deal after what happened today?
Well, much more confident. They were very good. Russia wants to do something. They want to stop the savage barbarianism. I mean, what's going on over there? It's soldiers are being killed by the thousands on a weekly basis. It's ridiculous.
Now, quite frankly, it's becoming increasingly unclear how either side can achieve peace given the level of enmity and discord over these initial talks. President Zelensky and President Trump appear dug in on opposing views for ending the war, and should it continue, a Trump-Putin meeting might just be a summit that leads to nowhere.
We're calling the show Vantage. We hope you like what we put together for you. Touted as the minimum defense from that video. India's neighbors were the first to send the special edition of Vantage live from the White House throughout the city. Yes, Hindu Mandir in we're on our way to Tel Aviv. City measure, but it's also the perfect way to drive.
I don't think
Prime Minister of Bhutan, Sherin Thagbir. Welcome to
60% of the world's
office. Prime Minister Modi did the iron.
We were actually.
How are you doing? How do you like? It's been 1 year since that meeting. Iron bars separate you from the outside. Out the vote efforts. Trump had, it says, and at $4.3 trillion, 300 billion by 2030. That's what we need to tackle climate change.